Welcome back, viewers. This is your show, Chungu cha Jamii. If you're just joining in, I'm your host, Eunice Mugo. Before we went on a break, we are talking about emerging issues in women's health. Today, as we've ushered in a new year, we want to understand our health, since we are the pillars of our families, pillars of our societies, to understand better about our health so that we start our year in a healthy way, so that we are able to have the strength to carry on throughout the year with being in a good shape and in a physical state of mind to handle all the issues that we go through in general. So Martha, before we went on a break, we were talking about these issues to do with fibroids. We'll find that we have women of age that are affected with these issues of fibroids. So as a mother or as a lady in the family, in the society, what do you think brings about fibroids to this for us women?
Thank you once again. The issue with fibroid, we used to say that fibroid we believe that it gets to as elderly as the age goes. But currently we are not talking about age. Currently we are talking about the lifestyle. Right now, as I had said earlier before, lifestyle has really affected us. So there before we could say it is because the uterus is an idle uterus. But right now we tend to get young girls or young ladies before even the age of giving birth, they have the fibroid. So what I can suggest here as a woman in the society, let's be very conscious. When we are being called out, there is a screening that is going out somewhere. Let's go and take our girls. Let's not assume my girl is too young for this. I'm too young. Like for me at the age of 33, I don't imagine getting the fibroids. I just assume the fibroid belong to those elderly people. Those people who are not giving birth maybe, or those people are at that age line of giving birth that they are not giving birth. But right now, it is so challenging for a baby girl, it's so challenging for a child that is called a woman or should be called a woman one day, one time. Let's be very conscious. As a mother, let's start for our girls. Thank you.
Mr. Vincent, we understand in the medical perspective, would want to know, do you have an age limit or an age phrase that you can put across when it comes to fibroids? Because it's really affecting us and making the ladies who wants to give birth not being able to in a position. The uterus cannot hold a baby and hold fibroids at the same time. And what do we do to overcome this challenge of fibroids in women?
Okay, once we didn't say what fibroids were, and at this juncture in a particular time, I could like us to know what the fibroids are. For those people who've had this feeling of fibroids in their body, they might be in a better position to know what we are talking about. These are more of tumors which grow in the reproductive system. There is a question which you said about the age limit. The fibroids, they are abnormal growths which grow in the lining of the uterus. Before I say the age limits, these growths, they affect the reproductive system. Now, coming to the age, if it is affecting the reproductive system, does a toddler have a reproductive system?
No. Yes, they do have a reproductive.
They do have a reproductive system. Does an elderly person have a reproductive system?
Yes, they do.
Yes. What is a tumor? A tumor, it is a non-cancerous. In this context, the fibroids are non-cancerous. They are not
cancerous.
They are not cancerous. So, if this person possesses a reproductive system, he or she, it is she. She's in danger of getting what? Fibroids. And some of the factors that are aggravating us to getting fibroids, it is the inactivity of the uterus. Now, this one brings the age gap to a smaller limit. And this one is going to start affecting those girls who have started experiencing their first periods and those people who are approaching menopause and beyond. You realize when these growths are coming onto situ or onto praise, it means the endometrium or the lining of the uterus has been disturbed. Now, coming to those people who are having problems with receiving their periods every month, those people are at risk of getting what? Fibroids. You know, the shedding of the endometrium or the shedding of the uterus, the uterine wall. There are three major hormones which play key role when it comes to the shedding of the endometrium. For you to receive your periods, there must be shedding of the endometrium. You did produce your ovum on your monthly cycle. The endometrium prepared for implantation, which is not going to occur because there is no fertilization now as the process goes on. So we expect this endometrium to shed off, and by shedding off, when it is going to repair, this is now estrogen coming into play. During the repairing of endometrium lining, that is when we are going to have follicle stimulating hormone stimulating development of fibroids. Now, they have developed because of the hormone thing, the estrogen part of it. When it is not balanced, you know, it is supposed to repair to a certain level, then at a normal physiology takes place. But if it advances to another stage, then it means fibroids are going to come, which is going to impede your health, meaning your next cycle, it is going to be altered. Are you getting now? Now, in a sense, these fibroids, they try to get space between estrogen and the progesterone, which are controlling the repair and the growth of the endometrium lining. Yeah.
Oh, that one is so insightful. Martha, as a woman of the society, given that you've learned the insight of our health practitioner here about the fibroids, growing up as me, I only knew, like you mentioned, it's from an idle womb. Now that we've learned it's for anyone who is exposed to these cycles of menstrual cycle, that is when one is exposed to fibroids. Now, do you say, other than operation, because I understand fibroids, in most cases you're told you undergo operation. Do you think it's fair for a young girl to be exposed to operation in terms of fibroids being removed from their body, and would it have any side effects to their health growing up?
Wow, thank you very much. I would say this, and I would like this to lead to every woman. Surgery or operation is not only the option. Let's not just rush because we have been told, we have been diagnosed with fibroid. Now you need to go for operation. Let's not rush for it. Operation, it may seem easier, it may be minor or major, but whichever it is, it has some cost. It may not affect you because you are young, but in future, the scar will affect you. Another thing, during the operation, it is not a guarantee that the fibroid will not come back again. We won't guarantee you that. But when I'm here to talk about the therapy, when we use heat, it's a kind of a tumor, it's kind of a thread type of blood. So when we use the heat, when we use a massage, there is a machine called a hip massager. When I'm talking a hip massager, we all know what hips are. So it is a gadget, or it's a product that you sit on. Like the way I'm seated, there is a gadget that I'm sitting on called hip massager. When this hip massager, it hits, the heat penetrates 4 to 6 inches. So if those fibroids are there, they tend to shrink. They shrink, you continue. That's why we talk about the difference between us and the hospital. We take the medicine in the morning, in the afternoon, such. But when we talk about therapy, therapy need a lot of discipline, a lot of commitment. You can't just come for a therapy once, one session, 2 sessions, then you're like, my fibroid are gone. It is a process. It is a process. You have to be there every day so that you get this heat every day, so that it can penetrate through the moxibustion process. Then it helps, or through this heat, it helps the fibroid to melt. If they don't melt, they will shrink. It is a continuous process. So let's not rush for the operation. Thank you so much.
Oh, now that you've mentioned about the moxibustion process and for the fibroids to shrink, medically or scientifically, is it proven that this one is going to help one, and is it going to reoccur in a life? Because in operation, it's like you mentioned, it's not guaranteed that the fibroids will not reoccur. I've heard of cases whereby this persona had fibroids, have gone through operation, yet 10 years down the line, the fibroids have reoccurred. In this process you've mentioned of moxibustion and heat process for the fibroids to shrink or melt from this person's body, do you have cases of them reoccurring when they're not exposed to this heat, Mr. Vincent?
Okay, thank you once again. I would like to say this, as long as you are ovulating, your metrium will be repairing and regenerating now and then. So saying that you've done a surgical procedure and you've removed the fibroids doesn't put you in a better position to say you've healed the fibroids. They can reoccur now and then. Number 2, before we go on about these fibroids, I would like us to know some of the manifestations that you might manifest for you to come on to conclusion that you might be having these fibroids. The first thing, during your periods, you might be having heavy bleeding. You might the amount of blood that is going to come out of your metrium, it is going to increase. Reason being, there are blood vessels which are going to be attached to the growths, because a cell can't thrive without nutrients. So it must get the nutrients, and the nutrients that are gotten out of blood. So the heavy bleeding, it is linked to the growths, to the blood supply to the growths. There is pain at the pelvic region. You'll be experiencing pain at this region. For those who have had them, they might know. The cramps, they might increase. Also, the rate at which you are urinating, it can also increase. And those people who have their partners, they might have a lot of pain during copulation. Also, the menstrual period, it might extend. You might also feel that your abdomen is full, and you might have it swollen. For us to come to diagnose this, we need to check the condition and the shape of the uterus and the size. You know, this region is so powerful when it comes to the women part of it. When you experience pain at the abdomen, it means there are a number of things which are happening there. It might be cramps, it might be polycystic ovarian syndrome, it can be an ectopic pregnancy, or it can be another condition, or it can be referred pain to this region. So we need to have the pelvic and magnetic resonance imaging, or MRI, or X-ray, or we need the histogram. We need to know what is happening in the intrauterine mucosa for us to determine what we might be saying. Also, there is what we call heteroscopy. We need to insert a device onto the uterus so that we can monitor how it is. We see the integrity of the metrium lining, so that we can conclude that it is the growth. Under the treatment part of it, there is this thing known as oriental medication, which Madam Martha had already said. Under medication, we give gonadotropin releasing hormone, which is an agonist, which is going to suppress progesterone.
On that note of that difficult word of the scientific words of these doctors who are making this one to be more exciting, I would like us to take a short break. We'll continue from where we've left, Mr. Vincent. So viewers, let's go on a short break. We're going to continue with this conversation on issue emerging in us women. Continue on sending your comments across all our social medias network. That's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. We'll be back shortly.